Welcome to another live stream. Today has been pretty productive. Just filmed a bunch of new videos for the channel. So you'll be seeing new videos first of the month, as always. If you're new here, my name is Jeffrey McIntosh. This is my channel where we produce videos, everything focused on Pu-erh tea. And today we're doing a public live stream. And we will be drinking one of the new ripe Pu-erh productions from 2022. I'm actually going to revisit it since I've only drunk that tea about 2 or 3 times. So drop them in the comments below. What are you drinking? Have you drunk anything exciting this weekend? Anything new in the tea world? Drop them in the comments below. We'll wait till everyone gets settled and then we'll get into things. And it's been a little while, so yeah, exciting time. It's been a hot summer, whether you're in the East Coast or West Coast. It seems like everyone's had a little bit of a hotter summer than normal. Alrighty, so we'll be revisiting the 2022 Zanfeng Ripe that Danong produced for their new teas this year. This will be the 3rd time I've drunk this tea. Just to give it some time, because usually when teas are first released, we all know, they kind of have that water vapor issue that mutes some of the flavors, right? Or subdues them or masks them. And it makes it quite difficult to tell the quality of the tea at first. So, it's been almost 2 months now, right? Since these teas have been released. Hey Andrew, how you doing? Thanks for joining and drinking the 2021 Darjeeling Winter Tea. Oolongs are always great to drink during the hotter days. Hey Jeff, the new Danong teas, are those gonna be up on the online store? Wouldn't that be nice to know? I don't know. She keeps saying when they have time. I don't know what that means. If you walk by the Danong store, you'll notice everything is boxed up on the floor. Hasn't even been moved around yet. So I'm sure priorities. Getting the teas on the online store may not be on the highest priority, unfortunately. How you doing, Adam? Welcome. Thanks for watching. Let us know what tea you're drinking. I'm just getting ready to do another session of the 2022 Zanfeng Ripe Pu-erh that was released this year by the Danong Tea Company. So, Jason, now that you've had some time to drink some of these teas, what are your initial thoughts of the new teas? I know you're all about the ripe, so very curious, because you probably had more sessions with this tea than most of us, since I think you got a cake of it. That is the strangest aroma, and I don't think I'm going to share that aroma. It's a strange aroma. Recently I've been doing some a little sacrilege. Because the ripe tea I have the most of is the 2013, 2009, 2010 wild ripe bird cakes. I have a lot of those. And then I have a lot of the 2004 ripe Pu-erh in the box because they have the original cakes. And when you drink the wild teas, it's almost too cleaning, right? It's almost sometimes when you don't eat a lot, you don't really want to drink some of those wild ripe teas. And then 2004 just doesn't have enough body and flavor and aroma, thickness. I was mixing those teas. No, it sounds horrible. It's horrible. that's what I've been doing recently. Did I send out tea to patrons? Nope, we did not send out tea to patrons. So most of these teas we're just revisiting. Danong had some samples that were sent out. If they did previous year pre-orders, they got the teas for free. Unfortunately, it's too late for me to drink tea. No problem at all. I've had 3 different Pu-erh teas today. Very exciting. What were those Pu-erh teas? Curious. So I'm using about 2.5 grams, so I'm not going to quite fill up my Gaiwan. I still want enough water in there to have a good tea to water ratio. Today I drank the Zanfeng Raw, and then I did the 2013-2004 ripe combo. Drinking the new 2022 and love it. 6 grams in the pot, love it. Which do you like that more than rich tea? I'm kind of already kind of settled in. The new 2022 teas are more enjoyable than Distant Mountains and Yulu. That's kind of where I'm sitting. And then further conclusions I haven't really come to yet, but wondering if you share those same thoughts with the ripe. Because this tea is very soft, it's pleasant, enjoyable. It doesn't have, some of the Yulu Distant Mountains just has a tad bit, a little dryness or a tad bit of just itchiness in the throat. I don't quite get this with this tea. It's quite smooth and easy to drink. There's just not a lot of flavor yet. Like those commemorative ripe teas, when that tea was produced, it was just so strong. It was almost too strong. You could drink it, but it was just like rich Chinese medicine. And with these aerial fermentation teas, they're just so different. It's so hard to gauge where they will go. This ripe tea is quite tasty. The first time I tried it, I think it was too new, it was too subtle. The second time I got some richness, just a tad bit of creaminess. Now I'm getting a little bit more of that creaminess. So I'm hoping this ripe tea is kind of the major player here. Because this could be a mini song. That would be a whole other ball game. Also, y'all join in, you get a little sneak peek. We've got 7 people on here, so line up on the next videos. I filmed and edited most of them. So 5 in total. I'm making the videos under 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes, so super condensed, to the point, a lot of info. Don't have to spend a whole time watching a whole hour live stream. I think that will be beneficial. Lineup is 2 tips on raw pour. Outside of just like water temperature, steep time, and tea to water ratio. And then that make a drastic difference in how you brew tea. That'll be coming up September 1st. Then we have, in no particular order after that, we have the difference between cha chi and caffeine, because believe us, we do get confused sometimes, and not making that mistake. And how to serve tea to new people. Like if you are having friends, colleagues, family, you're going to their location, I don't know, holidays, things are coming up, right? And how many times have you tried to serve tea to someone who hasn't had tea before? And you know, we're crazy about tea, so we got all this stuff and we love tea. And you go there and then you just have a horrible experience. It's just, you're on an off day, they have these hyped expectations and it just all goes to poop, right? So talking about how we can have the most successful tea gathering when going to someone's location to prepare tea for new colleagues. That'll be on there. Also talking about the in-depth of tea, those 3 variables. So moving those 3 variables, this will be one video. Tea to water ratio, how long you steep it, going really in depth there. And there's one more, but I forgot what it was. Oh, water vapor. I'm gonna go in depth about the 3-month water vapor on a new tea. Still drinking Golden Branches. Yep, Golden Branches is the tasty go-to for me for affordability and tastiness. And I'm really seeing, will this tea be above and beyond that Golden Branches? Because now I'm kind of feeling it's right here, neck and neck with Golden Branches, so it's going to be exciting to see how this tea develops. First was a raw young sheng sample from Chrisman, my Lotus gave me. Next was a Lao Chato, and the last was some young sheng from W2T. I like it. So you went all young raw, went over to ripe, then back to raw. flavor conundrum, that'll be difficult to tell the quality of those teas when you're mixing them all up so much. But that was probably a fun day to try all those different types of teas. I should do a video on Lao Chato. That's quite a popular subject. I'm seeing more and more of that show up online with those type of teas. Sorry, Jeff, I missed it. Are you drinking the new right now? I am drinking the new ripe tea right now. It does have a slight some chocolate flavor, so I'm glad we have another in agreement to that. Yeah, Adam, I feel you there. It's hard because we have to remember, right? We have to step inside our own shoes, right? We're crazy about Pu-erh for whatever reason, and once we like it, we dive deep into it, and then we learn about raw and ripe, and then we learn about all the different types of aged teas and mountains and age of trees and like different producers, and they all have their own style, right? But most people, we have to remember, not even going into raw and ripe, above that, Pu-erh, the concept of a tea you can age is crazy. And so sometimes when you're introducing Pu-erh, it can be difficult. And so what I do is I just kind of tolerate, do they have any tea experience at all? And I'm very crazy about Pu-erh. You can see by my channel, it's my whole life. All I did was open Pu-erh companies. And when I introduce tea to someone new to tea, I actually only introduce black or white tea, a very good quality black or white tea. And if possible, having that black or white tea made from Pu-erh tea trees. And that's how I introduce folks. And I just have a casual conversation. I don't even get into Pu-erh that much and just see if they enjoy that cup of tea. And if they do, then the second time I follow up with them and drink tea with them, then I might introduce Pu-erh. But I've noticed if I introduce Pu-erh too early on, it's just a little too much. Maybe there'll be a bad experience. Maybe it's a little too overwhelming or overhyped in anticipation. And then it kind of falls flat and doesn't tee you up for that second encounter. But I agree, it is tough. It is tough to introduce Pu-erh to new folks. And you really want to make sure you get a Pu-erh that's very approachable, right? For me personally, I don't like Pu-erh teas that are bitter, astringent, caffeinated. It's undesirable for me, but that's fine. Everyone can disagree. And so I'm looking for teas that are very floral, very aromatic, very soft, very calming. And I'll usually introduce those types of Pu-erh teas to newer Pu-erh tea drinkers, and they're usually shocked and astonished. And then you can kind of introduce them into all the different types of stronger flavors. Jeff, are you familiar with Jing porcelain? I purchased a porcelain teacup from Danong's site. How would it compare? Great. So yeah, I am very familiar with Jing porcelain. We do have to be very careful around Jing. Same thing with Yixing, controversial terms. What is the likelihood of us being able to purchase real Yixing, right? It's been newspaper since 1980s, 1990s that there is no more Yixing clay. There is clay. There isn't any more Yixing clay. So we just need to deeply think about that. Then Jing also is having the same issue recently. Limited quantities, also the production type. So the most important is the quality of the porcelain. And so if you purchase some from that site in particular, I do use those cups. It is a newer material. It is being shipped and sent over with Taiwan, produced near Taiwan. It's a Taiwanese company. Exceptional quality porcelain. And if you think about good quality porcelain, Jing is famous because of the blue-like hue, right, of the porcelain. But good porcelain, you should be able to line up different cups. This is a great exercise for you all. If you're new to porcelain, get like a cheap, literally, kitchen mug, another teacup that was cheaper from China or Taiwan or Japan or wherever, and then get your more expensive porcelain cup. And just line them up on the tea table and just drink like warm water from those 3 cups. Good quality porcelain should have the characteristics of making the water softer and sweeter. Just the quality of the porcelain alone. So that's a really good test. And if you just drank a bunch of tea and then you do this test, it might be difficult. So make sure you have some time to rest your palate. Spend a few hours or a day just drinking water from those cups. Really good, strict, stressful test on the quality of the porcelain. But this is particularly the best cup I found for the price that is accessible without spending an arm and leg. They are not cheap, so I'm not saying they're cheap or affordable, but accessible, easy to get a hold of, and good quality are something to be valued, right? I'm sure you can get one-offs from all these different shops and maybe get a good quality cup, but this is a good baseline. At least get one, try it out, and then you can use that knowledge to explore other vendors, other teacups, other porcelain. Looking forward to the in-depth tea videos, as I'm completely new to tea. Well, Carla, welcome to the world of tea. I particularly focus on Pu-erh. There were some really good videos. If you go to my channel, go to video, do most popular, like what is Pu-erh, introduction to Pu-erh is fantastic. How to brew raw and ripe Pu-erh are a really good place to start. And then you can just kind of have some fun in there. I have a video like on green tea, brewing green tea, that can be helpful as well, but just explore the YouTube version of the tea world, and there'll be plenty and plenty of information. Also, Wikipedia has some incredible articles around loose leaf tea. But questions, feel free to ask. Happy to answer any questions that come up along the way. Yeah, this is nice, because this is getting, which I did not pick this up the first time I drank it. I started to pick this up a little bit on the second time, but this is a really good indication. It's smooth, it's creamy. And when you're thinking about ripe Pu-erh, we all have drunken ripe Pu-erh, I'm sure. And you've heard of these things of, oh, the ripe tea is very young. It's a new production, right? You'll hear people say, oh, it has that funky wet pile taste or aroma. To me, that's a huge red flag, huge concern. Because if you think about ripe Pu-erh, it is fermentating in a big pile, wet pile. What water are they using? Is the factory clean? Is the air quality clean? Are the factories using proper clean equipment and stirring the piles, keeping heat distribution? So ripe Pu-erh when it's young can have a strong taste, but it should not be unpleasant in any way. Some people say it's like a funky like fish. I don't want to drink things that are funky like fish. That's usually a bad indication or a red sign. So they can be strong, like Chinese medicine, that's okay, and a stronger like characteristic, but it should be natural, and it shouldn't be undesirable or strange or funky, right? It shouldn't be putting you off when you smell the aroma. So this doesn't have any characteristics, very clean, but it's actually more on the light side. And what it started to develop now is that creaminess, that softness, that smoothness, which is unique because usually you don't get those characteristics in ripe until a few years after they've aged. But because they're using that aerial fermentation technique, you're starting to see those characteristics show themselves so early. This is 2 months, 2 to 3 months after production. It's quite astonishing to have that, but it's also quite light, right? So aerial fermentation, ripe teas, I've noticed, have kind of developed and become stronger, are very smooth, very creamy. More traditional wet piles, when done right, come off really strong, almost unbearably Chinese medicine strong. You have to wait a little while. They kind of mellow out a little bit, and then they start developing from there. So it's cool to see these two different types of genres start to develop. And now we have a few years to look back on how aerial fermentation, how that aerial fermentation technique is starting to develop and age, because it's so new, but it also is a little expensive as well. But this is quite, yeah, really sure this is definitely better than Distant Mountains, Yule. And I'm not going to say Golden Branches yet because I really want to see this tea develop a little more, but I think this is a really solid buy. Both the new teas are pretty solid buys if they come at an affordable price point. But more so than last 2 years, which is great. I think the drought had a lot of effect on the last 2 years of tea. Just made the teas really energetic and lively. Also, we will be going to Vietnam in T-minus 3 weeks. It'll be a busy trip, but I really want to make sure half a day or 1 day is tea related in some fashion. Whether visiting tea houses or tea master Miss Fu. So I'll update you. Hopefully we'll have a pretty unique video, travel video up there. Of course, we'll do that, but we'll probably have a mini video in Vietnam and tea. So if you want Vietnam teas, you're excited about Vietnam teas or something, be sure to contact me. If you're a patron, just let me know if you're interested in some type of, lotus tea or Vietnam snow tea. Do reach out prior to that. Happy to secure some for some patrons. At least Danone should let us know where they'll price it. I know, right? At least give us some hint. Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe they're waiting until the price increases and then they're going to launch it. Because I know there's no pre-order pricing, but it'd be really nice if it came in like at 35. But I don't think that's going to be the case. It's probably going to be around 40. If it goes above 40, it's going to be tough. If it goes at 50 or above, it's going to be hard to purchase large quantities of that tea when it's so new and we really haven't seen how it develops yet. So I'm really hoping for between a 30 and 40 price range, but I think realistically we're going to be looking at 40. That's just my guess. When's that home? Yes. I'll bring a cup over. We were talking about, I said I was going to Vietnam in September, so I said I'm trying to make a half a day or a few hours in a day focused on tea, and then we'll make a video for tea. And if folks want any Vietnam tea, please do reach out. Her name is Miss Vu, right? Huh?
T-A-N.
Miss Tan. So, you may have all seen her if you follow my journeys. I've visited her a number of times in Vietnam. I'm new to Pu-erh, having just discovered it. Well, welcome to the world of Pu-erh. It's going to be a long journey. Yeah, there's a lot to uncover, and there's also a fire hose of information that can be difficult to digest, especially as a newcomer. But it also is a buyer's beware market, so all kinds of things. So just take it one day at a time. I think a really good starting tea, recommending starting tea on the raw side that I've been recommending to a lot of folks is Enchanting Beauty 2021. So the name is called Enchanting Beauty. It's a raw tea released in 2021 last year, and you can find it on Danone Tea on their website. It's $40 right now for 100 grams, which is pretty affordable for the quality of the material. But I think that's just enough to give you a good spectrum of a clean, quality raw pour, sweetness, really young, will kind of blow you away that it can be so gentle and enjoyable that young. And then you can kind of explore from there. But if I recommend one tea, that would be the one I recommend. Spend some time with it. I do the 3-day rule. So whenever you encounter a new pour from whatever vendor, it's important to drink that tea and only that tea for 3 days to evaluate it. Because on Pu-erh, it's not like white, green, oolong, or black teas, right? The taste, it's all about the taste. Pu-erh is also about the feeling in the body. So if we drink a lot of different Pu-erh teas, at the end of the day, we can't sleep. We don't know which Pu-erh tea affected us, which tea had all the caffeine and which one did not. So when you're encountering a new tea, or you're thinking about doing a large purchase of Pu-erh, just drink that one tea for 3 days. Maybe once, twice, 3 times in one day, kind of sporadically, because it will give you an unadulterated opinion of that tea. So in the second day, if you're not feeling so well, you'll know it is indeed from that tea. If you're feeling quite good and comfortable, well, then you know it's that tea. But if you drink a lot of teas, you don't know if you're feeling good or bad is from what tea. So newer teas, recommend at least one time only drinking that tea for 3 days. Really evaluate it. Be aware that Pu-erh tea is more sensitive than other teas, so a little bit increased temperature, a longer infusion, a little bit stronger tea to water ratio, lesser tea to water ratio will have actually a pretty drastic effect on the flavor profile of the Pu-erh. So keep all those things in mind. And I go into depth about all that in all the videos on my YouTube. But yes, it can be overwhelming, and my channel is maybe a little too niche and maybe too overwhelming for some folks. Just keep it simple. Good tea should taste good, it should feel good, it should smell good, and that's good tea, right? If you have to convince yourself, well, this tea is kind of bitter and astringent, but maybe it will be good in the future, probably unlikely, right? Tea is not going to change much from where it is today. So when it comes to Pu-erh, keep it simple. Make sure the quality of the tea is clean. And what I mean by clean, the aroma should be pleasant, the taste should be pleasant. The liquid should be translucent, not cloudy, not murky, not any kind of strange oils. All that's bad. You want translucent. It can be dark, and it should feel good in the body. If it has all those characteristics, it's going to age well. It's going to taste good. It's going to be good for you. Dive in, drink a lot. It'll be a fun time. It's so funny because I switched this cup. Gave my wife the other cup. This is from Teaware. Teaware is a more mass-produced, more affordable porcelain from China. Tastes totally different. It's more like smooth, sweet in this cup. Nothing wrong with this cup. The tea is still very tasty. It just feels a little more flat. The shape of the cup also makes a big thing because this obviously will roll on your mouth more and kind of spread out the taste profile. This is getting very, very nitpicky, and maybe it's not even a concern for most of you all. But if you drink the same tea for 3, 4, 5 days, little nuances of the shape and cup will actually have a big difference in the taste profile. Well, thank you for the place setting. I don't think it's that great of a place setting, but I hope to improve it one day. Recent sub within the last few weeks. Awesome. Thank you, Black Swan. Black Swan Painting Co. I love the name. Thanks for the knowledge so far. Greetings, everyone. Cheers. Awesome. Thanks for watching. We do one public live stream a month now, and a new video on the channel on the 1st of every month. So thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Oh yeah, so we have a painting up there. I just want to show you all. This is actually from Andrew. I'm going to show you all. This is actually from Vietnam. Little changing things up. So this is a painting that Andrew gifted us, and it's actually of kintsugi. It's painted by a Vietnamese artist of porcelain ware, and this artist's signature is to have a piece missing. You'll see it's kind of in the heart area, hole in the heart, and then holding the pieces as well. It's almost the structure of a person. Really cool. I like that a lot. So. The shape of cup and how it hits your lips is huge in my opinion. I agree too, but I start to sound a little crazy if I talk about the shapes of the cups and how the tea tastes. Yeah, all these things make a huge, huge important factor. And that's why I really simplified my tea setting. I used to have a lot of teapots, little gaiwans. I'll pick a new gaiwan, stick with it for a week, change it out. And I think simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So just keeping things real simple, focus on the tea, and that way when I swap out a cup, swap out a tea pitcher or a gaiwan, even though I'm drinking the same tea, I can have quite a different experience. And I think that's one of the beautiful things about Pu-erh that maybe some other teas don't have as a big of a drastic impact when you play with all these subtleties. It's funny, I think I made a video ago before the gooseneck and then the corvo, and I have returned to the gooseneck. I used to like the corvo more because you can control the speed. I felt like I had more control over the pour, and I really loved that component of it if I wanted to pour faster or shorter, and then I realized I didn't want that much control. I don't want to be paying that much attention to how I'm brewing, and the gooseneck just controls it all. It just makes it so I pour slowly and I don't have to think about it. So I have returned to just using the gooseneck. I paint residential. Oh, that's awesome. We'll have to check out. Do you do stuff on your channel, Black Swan? Do you do like showing your time-lapse paintings or your finished works? That'll be cool to see. I'll have to check out your channel. See, this is nice. I mean, I only use 2.5 grams, and this is very rich. This tea is very durable and abundant. Short infusions, but nice, beautiful color. Not a lot of tea either. That's okay. No need a channel. We got your name. We got us interaction on these channels as well. Quite tasty. This might take the place of Golden Branches. And if this is also coming in at an affordable price point, this is probably my new recommendation for ripe teas. Trying a newer ripe tea. Because for the raw, it's Enchanted Beauty, but for the ripe, for a long time, it was Golden Branches, but then the price went kabam. So, I still usually recommended that, but if there's one that comes in under 50, under 45, that would be ideal. Are those real daisies? They are real daisies. They aren't looking so happy. I picked them this morning. Because it's so hot, there's not a lot of flowers. But there were lots of daisies. So, I've been using daisies for my tea flowers. And then these are not real. These are fake. But these are the realest, fake looking tulips around. So we have these in the house too. But usually I would pick fresh flowers, but it's been so hot, it's been hard to find good flowers, so I've been using daisies. As a newcomer, is it better to start with raw or ripe? Well, if you have access to an abundant amount of good quality raw pour, you can start there, but that is not something that exists. An abundant amount of good quality raw pour. A lot of raw pour teas are very bitter and astringent, and difficult to get into. And if you drink a lot of them, you feel like you need to eat a stack of pizzas. So ripe is usually easier for everyone to drink and experience, and the flavor profile is so profoundly different that everyone can start to understand, oh, this is this weird thing called pour. So I think the best place to start is like a black or white tea. And then if you have good quality raw, raw is a good place to start. But it's so hard to get there. Enchanted Beauty is a great place to start. If you have that, fantastic, start there. Then you can move into ripe. But bad, good, great quality ripe teas, usually everyone can understand those and drink those teas pretty easily. But raw, bad quality raw tea is just hard to drink. And if you drink enough bad raw, you probably will just be put off and then not want to drink anymore, so you risk that. So wherever your taste profiles lead you, what you like is probably where you should start. But with me personally, if I'm in control of the setting and I'm introducing tea to someone, I'll do a black or a white, pause for a while, get their reactions, and then I would do a raw. And right now, that raw is usually Enchanted Beauty. And then after a few sessions or a few times we've met, 4 or 5 times, then you can start introducing Famous Mountains, Ancient Arbor teas. Tea's a little bit more pricey. Once they start to have a foundation of what raw should taste like, what ripe should taste like, what's good, what's bad, what's clean, what's not clean. So really whatever you like to drink. But for me, it's I do a black tea introduction or a white tea introduction, then I do raw, then I do a ripe, and then I see what those people like, and you will start to gravitate towards either raw or ripe. And you'll probably get into one of those and just drink those for sometimes years, really. That'll be like your go-to type of tea, raw or ripe. But then after 4 or 5 years, maybe shorter time, you'll start to experience that some pours taste better in the cold or the hot. So raw is usually more enjoyable to drink in hotter weather, or if you're feeling a little ill, or if you ate something not so clean. Ripe tea is usually more enjoyable in the winter, colder weather. Maybe you ate too much. Maybe your body just feels a little cold. Drinking ripe tea is very comfortable. So once you kind of go through those stages, you probably will get to a point where you have both raw and ripe, and you reach for one of those teas for a particular reason, where you're craving either raw or ripe, because they are very different. They affect your body very, very differently. But you probably will find one that you like more and then stick with it for quite a while. I was a crazy raw for a while. I was ripe for a long time, then raw a long time, and now I feel pretty balanced. I drink maybe 50-50 raw, ripe. Wow. This is very good. This is very good. That's good, because I was thinking about getting more ripe tea. I didn't know what to get. And I really want a factory tea. I want a lot of good go-to factory tea. Not that I need to be spending more money on tea, but it's always on the mind. This tea heats you up, too. I wonder if I can post my own custom emojis. Ha! This is what happens when you eat a lot of bad raw tea and eat a stack of pizzas. I made that emoji. And this is my old tea company. Pew! Tea. And then I made a teapot emoji. That was my first production teapot I custom made. Found out later it was clean, thank goodness. But it's not really Shinkulai. But it was made in the real dragon color, which is pretty nuts. And then a little, drink some good quality tea, want to meditate. That's cool, I never seen the YouTube emojis. Alright, I'm done with that. Alright, y'all, questions? What are you drinking? Let me know. Experiences with Pu-erh. You're new to Pu-erh, you're drinking Pu-erh tea a million years. What do you want to know? What kind of conversation you want to have around Pu-erh tea? Future topics for videos, drop them in the chat as well. Wow. Really bold. That was the issue with the black essence. Tea just was really short-lived. So it's nice to see this tea is holding up so strong with multiple infusions. Usually ripe tea, one really good characteristic of a good quality ripe tea is you can get a lot of infusions out of it. Because now with production methods and techniques, they've been able to find a way to make all ripe tea look relatively clean and translucent. But then after like 2 or 3 infusions, the tea just drops off, it dies. Maybe because they were doing a lot of cleaning techniques, and so the tea is not abundant, it's not durable. So if you have a young ripe tea that's durable, can withstand a lot of infusions, and it's very pleasant, it's a really good sign. Pu-erh makes me happy. Yeah, the good quality Pu-erh makes me happy too. Yeah. Good tea. Drink good tea, be happy. I think I was even on the bottom of one of my first production cakes. I was going through my tea closet the other day, and I found I still have, thank goodness, some of those raw teas I produced for Tea Book. We sold those out in like a month. The whole goal was that, to make it raw Pu-erh that was pleasant, drinkable, anyone can drink it. It was like under $10, and we're just make a new standard for good quality Pu-erh. I mean, it wasn't any famous mountain, that's for sure. It wasn't any famous mountain, that's for sure. But it was just really clean, affordable tea from Lincheng. That was probably between, 80 and 150-year-old tea trees. And I'm just so glad I found some. I have like 6 cakes left, so I'm just gonna forget about them. Drink them in 10, 15 years. But I was really worried I didn't have any more. I was worried I sold them all. And then I wouldn't have any of the tea I produced. Jeffrey, do you usually drink tea alone normally, or do you drink tea with your partner? So, mostly alone. When I drink tea, I always offer her some. She usually likes ripe Pu-erh. And if we ate a little too much, we ate like, I don't know, we ate out 2 to 3 times in a week, which is more than we normally do. Maybe we'll just feeling a little weird, because when you eat outside, you never know if it's clean or not, etc. So we might be like, oh, let's drink some tea, and then we can settle our stomach. If we travel, we'll either drink a little bit of tea, and then if she's feeling cold feet, cold hands, then she'll want to drink some ripe. But I think the majority of the time I'm drinking tea by myself, and then if I'm drinking ripe, I'll offer her a cup, or fill like a little cup, and then just give it to her to sip on. But I think the majority of the time I'm drinking by myself. And that's why I like this Patreon, this live stream, because it gives me a reason to really sit down and enjoy the tea. Because I will tell you, if you drink tea alone often, and you have, a million other things to do, you might not properly sit down and prepare the water and measure out the right amount of tea and have all the teaware and properly produce it and sit through all the infusions, which I think is the beautiful part of tea. And so this gives me a reason to do that. So, yeah. Mostly alone. But one of the beautiful things about tea is sharing it. So, just trying to find ways to be more proactive about drinking tea. So, something has to happen in the future. Opening a tea house, tea room. Yeah. When I get older, that's a big part of what's going to happen. So, I want to make that happen. But right now, I'm just in career building mode, going a million miles an hour, digesting as much information as I possibly can. Your icon looks like a concubine, seashore style, drinking Pu-erh Bulong Mountain along with tonight. Ordered my first cake back in January, left the holy grail of coffee. Wow, making that behind. Well, yeah, coffee, that's a big trajectory. There's room for coffee and tea, but I feel like I used to drink a lot of coffee, now I drink a lot less than before. My icon painting is like this one, the one on my YouTube avatar, is that what we're talking about? It's funny. I drink alone and send tea and Teaware pics to friends. Does that count? You drink tea alone and then send them the photos? Hey, I'm drinking with you. I love that. That's great. Could be flexible. True. Sometimes I just rush at the end to drink tea. It is tough because there's definitely a time. When I'm traveling or the end of the day when I'm really craving tea and I didn't sit down. So I have a kettle. I have a convoy kettle on the kitchen counter. I have this one on the tea table. I have another convoy kettle in my office. And then I guess we have a tea pet that's entered into the video. So I have 3 Fidel kettles, maybe a little excessive. And what I use on the kitchen counter and at work is a tumbler and a large cup. I put like 1 gram of tea. And it sounds crazy, very small amount. 1 gram of tea in the tumbler. I fill it up. Let it sit for 3, 4, 5 minutes. Pour out, and just have 1 large cup by my desk. We're drinking it on the counter, talking to my wife before we go to bed. And there's a beauty to that as well. Just drinking a big cup of tea and relaxing very casually. And then there's the whole other concept of sitting down and properly preparing it. I think there's a place for both of those things. It just kind of depends on timing and the situation. Because let's be real, we don't always have time to sit down for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and drink tea this way, even though that would be wonderful if we could do that every day. This tea is fantastic. I've said it. I think this tea is on par, if not better, in Golden Branches. You all have heard it from my mouth, officially. And I can say that confidently because this is my third time drinking this tea. And I just drank a number of ripe Pu-erh teas before this live today in preparation of this. My sessions are between 30 and 45 minutes. I like that. It's a good time frame. You get enough sessions in there, you can really enjoy it, and then you get on with your day. And it's also pretty in line with like a typical meditation session. So tea can also be very similar to meditation and the benefits of it. 30 or 45 minutes, I like it. That's how long these lives are usually. That's how long my solar sessions are as well. It's been hot recently. So if I look a little, it's because the weather's been so hot out here. is that a nerd? Like, it's just a whole different lifestyle. I feel ya. I don't like it. I mean, when I was younger, I was more crazy. I was more crazy. I was a crazy person, doing crazy things. And in many ways, tea saved my life, right? Calming me down, getting me interested in something else. But who knows? Maybe there's people out there drinking too much. Maybe they're the crazy people. Probably all the crazy people. So, one here enriching, bringing health, having a good conversation, maybe read a good book, right? Whole concept of trying to get 1% better each day. That's pretty profound compounding effects. But yeah, tea is a great substitute, alternative, healthy lifestyle. But in this society, I know, and I'm in the financial industry, not partaking in overindulgence in alcohol is more uncommon than it should. Should be more common. But I'm all about it. Drink tea, relax, spend time with your family, be a better father, mother, husband, wife, child, friend, colleague, family member. That's the goal. Wow, look at this. Rich, bold flavor right now. I do have to say this is a 5th, 6th infusion. I'm going to have to let this sit a little longer. Maybe 20, 30 seconds. But it still has a really nice, rich, dark color. Curious, you're using 6 grams, Jason, if you're even still on here. How many infusions are you getting out of your teapot? I'm wondering, maybe this is using 6 grams, because I'm always saying, ripe tea, big cup, more tasty. You use more grams. You always have to use more than raw, at least. How many infusions are you getting out of that 6 grams? Probably quite a few. Yeah, I'm going to get some of this tea. I'm going to get a lot of this tea. Because golden branches are a little out of the reach now if you're thinking about bulk purchasing. This comes in under 40. That's my ideal target. Six grams throughout the day for me, probably 6 to 8. Wow. I guess also, how big is your teapot? That would probably be because I'm at 6 here. I'm using 2.5 grams, but I do have a pretty small guy on. But yeah, this is great. This tea is great. If you all watching, give this video a thumbs up. I need to get more thumbs up in my video. That's what my YouTube algorithm says. They said you need more thumbs up. So how do you do that? Yeah, I like this tea a lot. This is great tea. Enchanted Beauty 2021 and Zanfeng 2022 Ripe. There's your beginner teas. Except you can't purchase this tea now. So, one day this will come out, I hope. Yeah. Chris might like this tea. This is approaching song on an affordable level. That's what I'm talking about. And also, usually with these younger ripe teas, my wife's very sensitive. She only wants to drink Lamona ripe every day. Is the Yulo in the distant mountains, even sometimes the commemorative ripe, to my surprise, and the 2010, 2013 wild ripes make your teeth jitter a little bit, which means there's some caffeine content in there. I'm not really picking a lot of that up from here. Song doesn't have a lot of that unless you make it crazy dense. Lamona doesn't have much of that if it's ripe. So I'm liking that feeling is there. So good, indeed, Jason. Agreed. Cheers. Cheers to that. So good. Hello, LNL. LML. Ni hao. Ni zai he什么茶? Tasty. That's a lot of heat. It's not the tea to drink when you're in a heat wave. Alrighty, y'all. Down to my last sip here. thank you all again for your support. As always, we have a new video coming out September 1st, so be on the lookout for that. Patreon will be doing some transitions. I really do appreciate all your support because you make this channel possible. But basically, we'll be switching to a public live stream, a new video at the beginning of every month, and not as much content on the Patreon now because we have so much there. Now I'm going to take all those videos, condense them into 5-10 minute monthly videos that are easily accessible. That way you don't have to dive through a barrage of insane live streams to find one piece of information. And that's where the support is going to mostly do. Just make it more public, more condensed, easier to find. And then switching over to one public live stream and one video a month. Because in the beginning, we were trying to create this content, right? Get it all accessible, get it built, kind of behind a paywall. Now that we've kind of built this up, this momentum, transition this content to be all available to everyone on the YouTube atmosphere. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you so much for your support. I'm going to drink this last cup. I want to call it a wonderful evening. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. An awesome start to the week. We're all going to crush it for sure, without a doubt. Look forward to y'all seeing you in my next live stream. Live streams are kind of random, but look forward to that September 1st video. If you have questions, comments, pop them in the comments below the videos, topics for future videos. Any of the videos, just pop them in there. I'm usually pretty responsive. If you want to support the YouTube channel, you just go on Patreon, do some donations there if you want. Otherwise, just keep watching, doing what you're doing. And thank you all so much for your support. Have an awesome rest of your week, y'all. Take care.